3D printing large files does not have to be hard, and it doesn't take a professional to do it, and it's actually pretty easy. So I'm going to show you 2 easy ways that you can slice up big files to print in your printer. One of the ways is using your slicer. I'll be using Creality Print for this demonstration, but it'll work on pretty much any slicer because they all copy each other anyways. Now with using the slicer, there are limitations. You're not going to be able to chop up a ginormous file into 50 or 100 different pieces and be able to label them all and put connectors on all of them and simply print them. The slicer just isn't designed for that. But there is a software that is, and that's Luban 3D, and I'm going to show you how to use Luban 3D as well. So let's jump on over to the slicer and let me show you how it works. Okay, so here on the slicer, let's say you have this model here, and as you can see, this one goes over the build plate right here. This dark spot right here at the top, that indicates that you're over the build plate, and then plus you get this notice, this error notice down here at the bottom. It lets you know that you're exceeding the build plate. And so a good way to remedy that is to go ahead and cut your model. And using Creality Print, you can go right up here to this little icon right here that says cut, and you'll select that. And there's several settings here that you can choose that can actually help you when you put your model back together. So I like to use the planar cut. And so you can basically grab this and move it up and down, you know, wherever you want it. And it's up to you where you want to choose to cut. There are going to be optimal places that are better than the others, depending on what print you have. Me personally, on this print, I would probably cut it somewhere right here. That way that gives me a pretty good area to glue back to, right? And so we'd do that cut right there. Now if you need a precision cut, you can actually put your cut Z position in here, and then you can actually get it down to, you know, the exact millimeter. But it's not as easy as just doing the cut. There are several options over here that you need to take into consideration, such as, do you want to keep both sides after you cut? Because sometimes you just want to trim off something and you're not really wanting to join it back together. So if you select keep right here, it's going to keep both sides, the pink and the green side, which in this case, that's what we want to do. We want to keep both sides. We don't want to just chop it off and lose the part that we cut. So make sure those are selected. And then right here, you can do add connectors. And this is the biggest part right here. This is what's going to help you put this thing back together and basically do it where it's perfect. And also give it some structural integrity by putting these plugs or dowels or however you choose to do it. So you have these snaps. You can do snap, and that's one that you can do. You have plugs. Now plugs you can change from prism to frustrum. I use prism, and I usually do circle. You can pick whatever you like. I like circle just because it's easy, right? So if we do a plug and we do circle, that's going to look, let's see, and then okay, so if we do plug and circle, let's zoom in a little bit. Now once you select that, you're like, okay, where's my plugs? Well, you have to actually add them. So now that you have that selected, you'll go over here and you're gonna left click, and you see right there it added the right here, it added the plug right there for you. And let's say you'll put one here, and we'll put one here, and then we'll put one there. So see, we have four little connectors right there, and you can adjust the size. Right here will be your size. You can make these bigger. Obviously you want to adjust the size before you start putting them. That way you don't have to go back and do all this. So you'll just adjust the size accordingly. So you'll also adjust the depth accordingly. So I'm going to do just this one so you can see the difference. And so I would want the depth to be, you know, somewhere around at least 10 millimeters. And now it also depends on what it's going into. I have a really long and tall print, so mine can be pretty much as long as I want it to be, but you know, 10 or 15 millimeters is good. In this case, we'll just leave it at 17. That's fine. And now if you get connectors on here that you messed up, you can just simply go there and right click it. You just tap the right click and it takes them off. So there you go. Now we don't have any connectors. So the size, let's see, 17. I'm going to do a skinnier connector, like 8 millimeters, and then we'll do depth at 17. So now let's add one, and now see what it looks like. So you don't want to exceed
the width of your print right here. So right here, this you know, if you want to, you can measure and make sure that you're within a certain amount, but you don't need to do that. I just eyeball it. So that's kind of too close for me. So the size on this one probably needs to be around 5 millimeters. So we'll type 5 right there. So now it's going to be a 5, and there you go. And you can actually move it. If you left click and hold, you can move and drag it wherever you want, get it kind of in the middle. And so now we have one there, we'll have one here, and then we'll have one there. So now we have 4 connectors. This one's a little bit over. Let's scoot it right there. And there you go. You got those. Now you'll hit confirm connector. And basically what that's going to do is it puts the connector there, and it's also going to drill the hole on the other side for you. So now you'll hit perform cut, and this is what you get. And as you can see right here, you have your plug sticking up. And let's back out. Where is our other piece at? Okay, so if you run into this, you'll want to, there you go. Okay, see how it blended those? So you'll want to tap the plate and deselect everything, and then go back and grab this, and then here you go right here. Okay, so we rotated it, and as you can see right here, that one was over here on the bottom. You can see that your holes will be right there, right? So there you go. Now you have connectors, and you'll have a solid print, and you can even see the depth of how deep they go right here. So now what I want to show you is how sometimes you might have a print that you just want to cut something off of it, and you don't want to make connectors, and you don't want to do all that. Well, you can also do that. So let's say we have this print right here, and let's say these are on there, but you know, we don't want them on there, right? So we're kind of going to do the same thing, right? So we have this print selected. We're going to go up here to cut, and then we're going to move our plane right here. And if you need to get it down, you know, precision, you can go type it in up here in the cut position Z. You'll change that. That's the up and down, right? And so I'm just showing you guys. I'm just going to get it close enough. As you can see, it's barely right there. But see, in this situation, this turned green, so that means you're probably going to take a layer or 2 off over here. So if you don't want to do that, then make sure that you'll want to measure basically from here to there and figure out how tall that you need this to be, and only cut off the portion that you don't want. And you can do that by adjusting the Z position, right? So in this situation, you would do this one. The pink part is our lower part. We want to keep that, and we don't want to keep the upper part, which is the green. So we'll unselect keep, and then we'll do perform cut, and there you go. They're gone. Okay, so now I want to show you what the other connectors look like, and you know, when you might want to use those. This is solely a preference thing, you know, and sometimes, you know, it just depends on your print. So the other one that I like to use besides plug is snap. And so these snaps right here, these are kind of like snap connectors. So these snap connectors, they're a little bit different than the plug. So the plug, as you can see, it's just a little dowel right here, and it just sticks up and it goes into the hole, and you're gonna have to glue it. Your part is not gonna stay by itself with a plug connector. Now with the snap connector, you can actually plug in the part to the other side of the part that you cut, and it'll actually stay because it forms a snap connection. And so let's add one of these, or a few of these here. Okay, here's our snap connector. And I can tell you that when you're doing small connectors like these, snap connector is probably not going to be your best option. You just want to probably go ahead and glue, because what happens with the snap connectors, they're really thin on both sides, and right here you only have so much room to work with. And with them being that small, I can tell you that 9 out of 10 they're gonna break as soon as you plug in the other side of the print, right? Now they do work very well whenever you can make them bigger, but in this situation we really don't have the room to do it. But let's just say we did, and this is the ideal size right here. So you can make these whatever size you want, but this is a really good size. Now you can also adjust the gap, right? And that's right here. You'll use space. That will determine the space in between. So honestly, I like to go with a little less space. I don't like that big gap like this right here. I like to go with a little less space, and 9 out of 10, that's enough. So as you can see, I'm at 10% on the space, and that's going to give you enough pressure to hold your print. Now, if you're really concerned with it, as you can see, I've got the bulge. It's already turned up to 10 from the last time that I used it. If you see the connector right here, you can see how the bulge of it's going out as I move this left and right. So that gives you a tighter fit on 10%. And if you go down, it's going to give you a little looser of a fit. Again, it's just preference on how you need your part to fit. And those are your snap connectors. So now let's go back and let's do the dowel connector so you can see that. So now we're back at the original model. We're going to go up here to cut, and we're going to place our cut. That's where we want to perform the cut at, right there. So right here, we're going to go to add connectors, and now we're going to select dowel. So what dowel's going to do, it's going to place a hole on both sides, and then it's also going to print a little dowel that you'll insert into your print. And so let's do that real quick. Depth and size, we'll keep those you know, kind of what they are, and then let's add those holes that we need. We'll zoom in here, we'll do one here. Oh, that is too big, so we won't keep that size. So I think we did 5 last time was a decent size for this model. We'll do 5. So as you can see, it's right here. We'll do one here, one here, one here, and we'll do one here. Okay, so now that we have those placed, now we're just going to do confirm connectors. And then we got those confirmed. As you can see, they're right here. So we got those, and then now you'll just do perform cut, and we have everything selected. Keep. Yep, we're good. Okay, perform cut. And again, it's going to go ahead and place your model on top of itself so you can't find it. And right here are your little dowels that it'll print out for you. Now, you can print those. You just hit auto here, and they'll print standing up just like that with no supports, and you'll be good to go.
So with the method I just showed you on the slicer, as you can see, it's good for like chopping up one big print and converting it to a printable size for your printer. Or if you want to shave off a little piece off of a print, it's good to do that too. But if you want to print a really big file, something like a life-size 3D print, you're going to need a third-party software, something like Luban 3D. And Luban 3D can basically take your big print and chop it up into as many pieces as it needs to be able to fit your print space, and it'll number them for you, put connectors on there for you and everything, to where all you have to do is pull up your Luban file, and if there's 50 parts in there, you can take each one of those parts, send it to your printer or printers, and print them all at once if you have a print farm, or one at a time if you just have one printer. So it pretty much works for every situation. So let me show you Luban 3D real quick.
So once you've got Luban, you'll come up here to the left and you're going to import, and I'm going to go here to some big files that I have, and let's pick this one. So basically, once you get your print in here, if you want to chop it up into a bunch of pieces that are printable and then you can place them back together, you'll go right up here to mesh, and then you'll hit cut. And then here you just select yes, and then here you want to make sure you're in millimeters because that's standard for 3D printing. Okay, so now that you're in here, now you're going to want to come up here to the top where it says modular cut, and you're going to want to make sure that you are on a modular cut. There's other options here, but for what I'm showing you and what I like to use is modular cut, right? And then you're going to have to set your 3D printer size. If you're using multiple printers, you can set, several different sizes, and it'll basically assign certain pieces to certain printers, which is super cool. So I'm using the K2 Plus, and my build plate is 350, 350, 350, right? And so there you go. If you want a border clearance, you can add that. I haven't seen a need for it yet, so not a big deal. You can do like a rolled edge chamfer on your cut. I do not want that, so I can't think of a situation where you would want it. I'm sure there are, that's why they have it, but yeah, I don't use that. Close cut is yes, axial cut yes, part number yes, and you'll say start number, right? This is our first 3D print, so our start number is going to be 1, and 9 out of 10 it's going to chop this piece into four pieces, kind of like a pie, and it'll be numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, let's say after this we're building this bike, right? Well, we have another wheel to print, so then we don't want the numbers to be 1, 2, 3, 4 again. You'll number them. If if this starts at 1 and ends at 4, your next print will start at 4, so you'll change that to 4 right there, and then you'll have 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And so on and so forth throughout the print. So you can actually, you know, number it from 1 all the way up to however many number of prints that you're doing. So down here, just like in Creality Print, you're gonna have connectors, right? I like to use the plug connectors. I use pyramid, and then I like to use the circle right here. You can choose whatever you want. There's plenty to choose from. I like to use circle. Number of connectors, I like to do 1. That is totally up to you and its preference. The depth, I do 1.5, and then the size, I do 5mm, right? And that's all dependent on your print, right? And on tolerance, so tolerance right here, as it says right here, a negative value compensates for material expansion in 3D printing. Meaning, if this is at 0 and you print it out and your dowels or your plugs don't fit into each other and it's too tight of a fit, you can account for the tolerance on your 3D printer. You can account for it right here. And I've done that right here, and I have a negative 0.1. And I can tell you, if you put a 1, 2, or a 3 there, like, it's gonna make your connector way smaller than what it needs to be, and it's not gonna be a snug fit whatsoever. I just did it very minimal, so you can play with that. I would suggest starting out at 0 right there and let your printer do its thing, and then adjusting down in very small increments. So now we're just gonna go ahead right here. We're gonna hit cut, and it's gonna save the cut file for you. So I'm gonna save this over here where I've made a folder right here, cut files after Luban, and that's where I put all my cut files. And we're gonna go ahead and save it there. And here you go. It's saved for you, but it's also pulled up here so you can see it. And you've got your file here. It's told us that we're gonna have 4 cuts right here. Now what I can tell you is the total time. Just disregard that, because for one, it doesn't know how fast your printer is, and you know, there's so many variables that it doesn't know that that's gonna be wrong. But what is correct is the part number. So there are 4 parts here, and when you print these out, they're gonna have connectors. So let me show you what that looks like. So you remember that we saved the file over here in cut files after Luban, so we're gonna go there, and here it is right here. It's the wheel, the front wheel. So in that file, it's going to be all your parts, right? And mine were numbered 4, 5, 6, 7, and here they are right here. So you can pull them in, and here we go. As you can see right here, here's one of the 4 parts of the wheel. Now this wheel is pretty big, and you know, thank God I have the K2, so I can print 2 of these at a time. So let's pull in another one. We'll do 5. And there we go. We've got 2 wheel parts that I can throw on this K2 build plate, and then I can throw the other 2 on the other K2 Plus. But I wanted to show you right here where you can see that it numbers your part, and here's the hole connector. As you can see, this part right here, it has a hole here, it has a hole here, and it actually adjusts the hole size for you. So just because you pick that hole size, it's not going to do that hole size everywhere. So it knows that this is a small part, and it adjusted the hole size accordingly, as you can see. Same thing over here. Here's your plugs that stick out. This is part number 5, as you can see right here, part number 5, and then here's your plugs.
So if you've made it this far in the video, you really should subscribe. And if you like this content, then hit the like button. Let me know you like it so I can make more content like this for you guys. Oh, and because you made it this far, I got a little gift for you. And it's this. It's a $300 coupon for the K2 Plus or K2 Plus combo. It expires March 31st, so here's what you need to do to get a $300 off coupon for the K2 Plus. First of all, you need to be subscribed, like this video, and in the comment section, I want you to comment K2 Plus if you want the $300 coupon. And I'll be picking a random person out of the comment section here in the next few days for the $300 coupon. So what'd you think about Luban? Pretty easy, right? Now I get it, this was a short tutorial. It was just a brief description of both methods. Now I will be holding a workshop, a live workshop here pretty soon. And if you want to get in on that, then go over to my Patreon, become a member. It's free to become a member. You can become a paid member if you like. That's awesome. But if you want to join up as a free member, then that's where I'll be notifying you of the free workshop. It keeps you up to date on everything that we're doing. And before anything ever hits YouTube, I post it on Patreon for my Patreon members. They know about everything before YouTube ever even sees it. So comment what slicer settings should I go over next. And until next time, stay ready to 3D print.